Hey guys, we are being asked to find the equation of a line that is perpendicular to this one and goes through this point. Okay, so first of all, what does perpendicular mean? That means the lines cross each other and make a right angle. So pretend this is perfect. They look something like that. Okay, of course it could be tilted or whatever, but they're going to make a right angle. Okay, so when two lines are perpendicular, their slopes are related to each other, okay? So I need to figure out what the slope of this line is to figure out what the slope of the line that is perpendicular to it is. That was a mouthful. Hopefully it made sense, okay? So luckily for us, this equation is already in slope-intercept form. Y is alone, okay? If you're not super familiar with this, I will link a video in the corner, okay? But when I am in slope-intercept form, the number in front of my x is my slope, okay? So this is the slope of this line. So for a line to be perpendicular to this line, the slopes are opposite reciprocals to each other. Okay, that was a really big words, but all that means is we flip this fraction and change its sign, okay? So the slope of a line that is perpendicular to this one, we flip that, which I could write as 4/1, but usually when something's over 1, we don't write the 1. So it's going to be 4 and change the sign so it's negative, okay? So the slope of my perpendicular line is going to be -4, okay? Now, I want it to go through this point. So we want to know the line that has this slope and goes through this point. We have a slope and a point. So what do we use? We use point slope form. Okay, let's go ahead and label these. So when I fill these in, this y is going to stay a y. This x is going to stay an x. And I'm going to fill in numbers for the y1, the m, and the x1. Okay, so you can probably guess this is my x1 and y1. And the reason they're labeled with ones is just to keep them separate from these ones, okay? And then m is my slope. I'm not sure who decided slope was m, but there you go, okay? So we are going to go ahead and fill this in. So we have y minus y1, which is 4, equals m, which is my slope, -4, times x minus x1. Okay, now you might be tempted just to do -1, but we are subtracting a negative. We need to make sure those are both there. So I'm going to put it inside parentheses. We're going to have parentheses inside parentheses. It's going to look crazy for a second, but we're going to simplify it. Okay, so I just plugged all my information into point slope form, and now we're going to simplify and try to get it back to slope intercept form. Okay, that's our favorite form to be in. All right, so I do parentheses first. So when I subtract a negative, it goes positive, right? If you take away something negative from your life, that's a good thing, right? So this goes positive. So I'm left with y minus 4 equals -4 times x plus 1. Now, normally what I would do next would be to add whatever's inside my parentheses, but they're not like terms. I don't know what x plus 1 is, right? So to get around that, what I do is I use what we call the distributive property, where I multiply that 4 to the, -4 to the x and then to the 1. Okay, so we're going to multiply that -4 in. So over here, I've still got y minus 4 equals -4 times x gives me -4x. -4 times 1 gives me -4. Oh man, we have a lot of -4s going on here. Okay, now my whole goal is to get y alone, right? So I'm going to add 4 to both sides, keep my equation balanced, okay? Those go away. Oh, and actually, this doesn't always happen, but those go away too, okay? So I'm left with y equals -4x. Okay, so I believe, and we're going to prove it on a graph, but I believe this equation is perpendicular to this one and goes through this point, okay? So let's go ahead and graph it. I went ahead and graphed this line on the computer. You're welcome. So this was our original line, the 1/4 x minus 2. Looks a little something like this, okay? But now I'm going to graph this one and cross my fingers that it's perpendicular and goes through -1, 4, okay? So you probably have experience graphing lines. I'm going to graph this one pretty quickly. If you need some more examples, I will link a video in the corner, okay? But when my y is alone, I know the number in front of my x is my slope, and whatever's being added or subtracted on the back is my y-intercept. Well, there's nothing being added or subtracted on the back, but I could think of it as negative 4x plus 0, right? So my y-intercept is 0, okay? And then my slope is negative 4. We can also think of it as negative 4 over 1, okay? So that means I go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1. Oh, and look, we're already going to cross 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. I can also go up 4, left 1. Okay, so there is my line. Oh, sorry, looking for my straight edge because I want the line to be straight. Okay, here we go. So my line looks a little something like this. That is looking like they make a right angle, right? Look at that. Bam. Feeling pretty good about it. And then does it go through negative 1, 4? It does right there. Okay, so I'm feeling pretty confident that I did this right. Okay, hopefully that made sense. If you need a similar problem, but you need lines that are parallel, that means they have the same slope, go ahead and I will link a video in the corner for a parallel example. But hopefully that made sense. Bye.